Chapter 10, Sound, Class 9th CBSE based. Contents, as per Class 9th syllabus. Nature of sound and its propagation in various media. Speed of sound. Range of hearing in humans. Ultrasound. Reflection of sound. Echo. Structure of human ear. What is sound? Sound is a form of energy that is produced when an object vibrates. The vibrations cause nearby particles of the medium, air, water, or solid, to move, creating a sound wave. How sound travels. Sound requires a medium, solid, liquid, or gas, to travel. It cannot travel through a vacuum because there are no particles to carry the vibrations. Sound travels in the form of longitudinal waves, where particles move back and forth in the direction of the wave. Production of sound. Sound is created by vibrating objects. The energy to make objects vibrate and produce sound comes from an external source, like our hands or wind. Examples. Voice. Sound is made by the vibration of vocal cords in our throat. Drum tabla. Sound is produced by the vibration of the membrane when struck. Tuning fork. In labs, sound is made by a vibrating tuning fork. A small pit ball is pushed away when touched by a vibrating fork. Methods of producing sound. Vibrating strings, like in a sitar. Vibrating air, like in a flute. Vibrating membranes, like in a drum or tabla. Vibrating plates, like in a bicycle bell. Friction between objects. Scratching or scrubbing objects. Propagation of sound. Medium. Sound travels through a medium, which can be solid, liquid, or gas. Vibrations. When an object vibrates, it causes nearby air particles to vibrate and move from their stable position. Transmission. These vibrating air particles push other particles, creating a chain reaction until the sound reaches our ears. Disturbance. It's the disturbance that travels through the medium, not the particles themselves. Wave. This disturbance forms a wave that carries energy through the medium. Sound waves. Sound travels as mechanical waves. Sound waves are longitudinal waves. A longitudinal wave is a type of wave where particles of the medium move back and forth in the same direction as the wave travels. For example, as the wave moves through air or water, the particles move parallel to the wave's path. Compression. When an object vibrates, it compresses the air around it, creating a high-density area called compression. High pressure. In compression, air particles are close together, forming high pressure. Rarefaction, when the object moves back, it creates a low density area called rarefaction. Low pressure, in rarefaction, air particles are spread out, forming low pressure. Series, as the object vibrates back and forth, it creates a series of compressions and rarefactions, forming a sound wave. Propagation, sound wave propagation is the movement of these density changes. Sound needs a medium to travel. Sound needs a medium to travel. Sound waves require a material medium, like air, water, or steel, to transfer energy and propagate as vibrations between particles. Sound waves are mechanical waves. As mechanical waves, sound needs particles to carry vibrations, unlike electromagnetic waves that can travel through a vacuum. Need for a material medium. For sound to move from one place to another, it relies on a material medium, such as air or water, which allows vibrations to be transmitted. No sound in vacuum. Sound cannot travel in a vacuum because there are no particles to vibrate and carry the sound waves. Electric bell experiment. Airtight jar. When an electric bell is rung inside an airtight jar filled with air, the sound reaches us. This demonstrates that sound travels through air. Removing air from the jar. If the air is pumped out, creating a vacuum, we can no longer hear the bell because there are no particles to transmit the sound, proving the need for a medium. Types of waves, longitudinal and transverse. I. Longitudinal waves. Particles vibrate back and forth in the same direction as the wave. Example, a slinky. When you push and pull it, compressions, closer turns, and rarefactions, farther turns, form. As the wave travels, each turn of the slinky moves slightly in the wave's direction. Thus, it's a longitudinal wave. Vibrations of particles are parallel to the wave's direction. 2. Transverse waves. Particles move up and down at right angles to the direction of the wave. Example, a slinky fixed at one end and moved up and down rapidly at the other end. The wave travels horizontally, while the turns vibrate vertically. In transverse waves, particles of the medium vibrate at right angles to the wave direction. Light waves are transverse and do not need a medium to propagate. Characteristics of sound waves. Wavelength. The distance between two consecutive compressions or rarefactions in a sound wave. Represented by the Greek letter lambda. International System of Units is meter. Frequency. The number of complete waves or vibrations per second. Measured in hertz, with the symbol nu. 1 hertz is equal to 1 vibration per second. Larger unit, kilohertz is equal to 1000 hertz. Time period. The time taken for one complete vibration. International System of Units is second, S, denoted by T. Frequency is the reciprocal of the time period, V is equal to 1 divided by T. Amplitude. The maximum displacement of particles from their original position. Denoted by A. International System of Units is meter, M. Pitch. Depends on the frequency of the sound. Higher frequency means higher pitch, and lower frequency means lower pitch. A woman's voice has a higher pitch than a man's voice. Loudness. Depends on the amplitude of the sound wave, measured in decibels, dB. Greater amplitude means louder sound, smaller amplitude means softer sound. Quality, timbre. Depends on the shape of the sound wave. Helps distinguish between sounds of the same pitch and loudness. A single frequency sound is called a tone, a mix of frequencies is called a note. Music is pleasant to hear, while noise is not. Velocity. The distance traveled by a wave in 1 second. International System of Unit is meter per second. Formula: velocity, v, is equal to wavelength, lambda, times frequency, nu. Speed of sound in different mediums. Material: sound travels slowest in gases, faster in liquids, and fastest in solids. Temperature: sound speed increases with higher temperature. Humidity: sound speed increases with more humidity in the air. Comparison with light: light travels faster than sound. Air: at 22 degrees Celsius, the speed of sound in air is 344 meters per second. Sonic boom. Supersonic speed: some aircraft, bullets, and rockets travel faster than the speed of sound. Shock waves: supersonic speed creates loud sound waves known as shock waves. Sonic boom: an explosive noise caused by these shock waves. Impact: produces powerful sound energy that can even break glass windows. Reflection of sound. Bounce back: sound, like light, bounces back when it hits a hard surface. This is called the reflection of sound. Law of reflection. The incident sound wave, reflected sound wave, and normal, at the point of incidence, lie in the same plane. The angle of reflection is always equal to the angle of incidence. Echo. Definition: an echo is the repetition of sound due to the reflection of sound waves. Time gap: we hear an echo when there is a time gap of 0.1 seconds between the original sound and the reflected sound. Hard surfaces: Echoes are produced when sound reflects off hard surfaces like brick walls or mountains. Soft surfaces tend to absorb sound. Calculating minimum distance for echo. Distance is equal to speed times time. Speed of sound in air at 2 degrees C, 344 meter per second. Time, 0.1 second. Distance is equal to 344 times 0.1 is equal to 34.4 m. Distance between reflecting surface and listener. 34.4 divided by 2 is equal to 17.2 m at 2 degrees C. Thunder. Rolling thunder is caused by multiple reflections of thunder sound from various surfaces like clouds and the ground. Difference between echo and reverberation. Echo. Reverberation. Repetition of sound due to a single reflection. Persistence of sound due to multiple reflections. Occurs in open spaces with a distinct delay. Occurs in enclosed spaces with overlapping reflections. Sound is clear and distinct. Sound can become blurred or distorted. Example, heard in a canyon or near a distant wall. Example, heard in large halls or rooms with hard surfaces. Applications of reflection of sound. Megaphone and instruments. Devices like megaphones, loudspeakers, and trumpets focus sound in one direction. The funnel shape reflects sound waves repeatedly, making them louder. Stethoscope. A medical tool for listening to sounds inside the body, like heartbeats. Sound waves reflect multiple times in the tube, reaching the doctor's ears. Soundboard. In large halls, sound is absorbed by walls and furniture. A curved soundboard behind speakers reflects sound so it can be heard clearly. Concert hall ceilings. Ceilings are curved to reflect sound evenly throughout the hall. Range of hearing. Human hearing. Humans can hear sounds from 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. Children under 5 years old and dogs can hear up to 25 kHz. Infrasonic sounds. Sounds below 20 Hz. Produced by vibrating pendulums. Rhinoceroses communicate using sounds as low as 5 Hz. Elephants and whales also produce these sounds. Earthquakes produce infrasonic waves before shock waves, which some animals can detect. Ultrasonic sounds. Sounds above 20 kHz. Dogs, porpoises, dolphins, bats, and rats can hear these sounds. Bats and rats can also produce ultrasonic sounds. Applications of ultrasound. Detect cracks, used in industries to find cracks in metal blocks without damaging them. Cleaning, cleans hard-to-reach parts of objects like spiral tubes and odd-shaped machines. Medical investigation, checks internal organs like the liver, gallbladder, kidneys, uterus, and heart. Echocardiography, uses ultrasound to image the heart's action. Ultrasonography, creates pictures of internal organs using ultrasound echoes. Kidney stones, breaks tiny kidney stones into fine grains. Sonar. Full form, sonar stands for sound navigation and ranging. Purpose, used to find distance, direction, and speed of underwater objects. Components, consists of a transmitter and a detector installed at the bottom of a ship. Sonar. How it works. The transmitter sends out ultrasonic waves. These waves travel through water, hit objects, and reflect back to the detector. The time taken for waves to travel and return is measured. Formula: 2d is equal to v times t, where 2d is the total distance, v is the speed of sound in water, and t is the time. This process is called echo ranging. Uses: sonar. Find the depth of the sea. Locate underwater features like hills, valleys, submarines, icebergs, and sunken ships. Bats. Bats use high-pitched ultrasound waves to navigate in the dark. They detect obstacles or prey by the reflected waves. Structure of human ear. Parts of the ear. The ear has three parts: outer ear, middle ear, and inner ear. Ears help us hear sound. Outer ear. Called the pinna, it collects sound from the surroundings. Sound passes through the auditory canal. At the end is a thin, elastic membrane called the eardrum, tympanic membrane. Middle ear. Contains three bones: hammer, anvil, and stirrup, linked together. The hammer touches the eardrum, and the stirrup is linked to the inner ear's oval window. The lower part has a narrow tube called the Eustachian tube. Inner ear. Contains a coiled tube called the cochlea, filled with liquid and nerve cells. Connected to the auditory nerve, which goes to the brain. Working. Sound waves hit the eardrum, making it vibrate. Vibrations pass through the three bones, amplifying the sound. In the inner ear, vibrations turn into electric signals in the cochlea. Electric signals go to the brain via the auditory nerve, and the brain interprets them as sound. Flow of sound, pinna ear canal eardrum hammer anvil stirrup oval window cochlea auditory nerve brain.